Is Call of Duty about to nostalgia bait us with the launch of Verdansk on the same old engine that we've had since MW2 and Warzone 2 launched? Right now, we've got a video that dropped today discussing, giving us kind of a first look at some of the changes they're making for Verdansk. And I want to back that up and take a look at actually some information, some leaks that dropped the end of last year, back in December, and kind of compare some of that information that we had back then, some ideas of what was coming, and look at what Call of Duty talked about this morning, and then kind of extrapolate that and look at what that probably means for us going forward here with Verdansk, with the future of Warzone and Call of Duty, and whether or not you should actually care and be excited, or if this is just going to be another reskin of of an engine that has left a lot of people unhappy with how Warzone plays. So when you look at Call of Duty, when you look at kind of the leaks that have come out, I want to look at kind of this, and I'm going to show you this leak from Modern Warzone. This was a leak that he got that he reposted from Ghost of Hope on information that was data mined out of the game files when Season 2 or Season 2 Reloaded dropped. I forget which one it was. I think it was Reloaded, and put a lot of information, put a lot of content, future content for Call of Duty in there. And one of the big things that I want to point out is that they discussed, they discovered that the red doors are coming back. That's the implication. That's the data that they found. And I find that important. I think that is important because I want to look at some leaks and some content posted by Hustler Relic over on Twitter back in December. And one of the things that he posted back, and this is December 30th, right? Red doors. Okay. I'm starting here because I want to provide context and credibility to the things that he's posted, that he didn't just make this up. This isn't just something that he found, or something that somebody, a fan art that was created. This was in December of 2024. So last Christmas or last New Year's. And he posted that, the red door was coming, and this is part of a collection of posts that he made about from essentially a developer showcase that was leaked to him. Now, I don't know how he got it. I don't know the details, but it's not, to me, relevant. But again, back, this was February, end of February, red doors were confirmed via leaks, or at least, the files were in the game. And Hustler had red doors coming back in December. So in this same data content dump, Hustler shared some content about things like snow, and some of the ground cover that was being created. So, we had this bit about the snow. I think a lot of people picked this up. And we talked about deformable terrain, right? So he's looking at the grass here. And so these are interesting parts that are brought in. And then he showcased this grass, right? So like talking about how much grass was growing, how much new grass was there in Warzone, right? Going into Verdansk. And then he shared this other piece of information, right? Talking about ray tracing on BO6, and that BO6 was being named the IW10 engine. You can see is this 10 test 10.3. And there's other information that they're considering IW10 or considering Black Ops 6 on a separate engine. It's not the same engine as we've had before. And what that means from a development point of view is that they are adding tool sets, changing things like physics engines, or maybe audio engine. We know they changed the audio engine. We know they've changed some other things. And so in this conversation, they are treating the BO6 fundamentals separate from in Modern Warfare 2 and separate from Modern Warfare 3, which means that they're bringing in changes. Now, what was explained to me is that Warzone did not move onto this new engine with the integration this year. which is kind of a big deal because it really goes a long way to explain why so many issues have cropped up, so many problems have cropped up, because they're running on essentially an outdated technology base that doesn't have all the features that they intend for Warzone to have. And they've kind of, and it also, in my opinion, matches why we got the map in the state that we did, because way back a year ago, give or take, when they launched the map, or Urzikstan originally, they just took that, bolted on the some of the features that they would, for Omni movement and some of the other features they were planning to move forward with, to match Black Ops 6, in feature set, even though it's not running in the same manner on the same set of engines. We keep saying engine, but on the same set of physics engines and software integrations that they intend it to. And what they intend is that when the new Warzone Verdansk drops, that will be the true integration, right? That will be where they bring all of the hardware that they created, all the new software, all the new tools, all the new systems that they created for Black Ops 6 and this IW10 engine. And I don't know if it's actually going to be a 10 engine or if it's like a 9.5, but it's definitely different and more advanced than we had prior to it, right? It's a different technology fork than we had for MW3 and MW2. If their plan is, and their plan seems to be, that they held off on a lot of that to make Verdansk, to flesh out Verdansk and to have all of these features added in when they bring Verdansk in, and then going forward, they would use this for future war zones. So they are making the evidence is they're making a dramatic change between, what we have now, which would be basically a modified MW2 experience that we have been playing on for the last 3 months, 4 months, however long it's been integrated, versus what we're going to get with Verdansk, which is actually going to be a leap ahead and kind of a sideways forward jump from what MW3 was. So unlike the MW2 to MW3 experience, which was simply taking MW2, making some changes to how it to settings, right, for speed and mantling and gun behavior, and then just putting a new map on top of that with Urzikstan, we are actually going to take that whole system and refurbish it and create a new version of the engine with new elements, new action, new features and stuff. So that's what that has been my understanding of what is coming for the last, and my understanding of that dates back farther from other conversations, but this was like the first concrete evidence that they were actually doing this. And that my understanding of that dates back for about a year now, that I've been aware a lot of these changes are coming and the manner in which they're coming. And so now we have this new trailer from Call of Duty, and I want to play it because I want us to look at some of the things that they say, having looked at Hustler Relic's reveals, the developer stuff that he put out there, because I think that the implication that people have had with what they're doing is simply we're just reskinning the game that we have today. We're just reskinning it with a new map. That's all it is. And I don't think that's what's going on. I think there's been some big changes under the hood that they have not rolled out to us, and they're waiting for Verdansk to do it. So when we look at this trailer, I think it's really important to keep in mind what we just saw with the leaks and the other information that was there, because I think we're going to see a lot of the indication that that's what's coming. That the revealing a lot of this stuff that was that we actually were able to see through this leaked developer context stuff.
Verdansk is back. It's rebuilt from the ground up to recapture the original Battle Royale experience, but now it has stunning new textures, improved visuals. We tried to create a more immersive play space. Every building, every road, every detail has been carefully refined to create the most incredible Warzone experience yet. When we started our journey to bring back Verdansk, we really wanted to keep this nostalgic feeling while also upgrading it with new technology.
new technology that allow us better quality, better rendering.
The grass, the bushes, the trees. It's way
Grass,
more complex
right?
now than what
We saw that
seen in the
already.
past. To allow that in the whole map, covering area with high grass, low grass, mud, all of this.
Right, that grass
is
that we
really
looked
new
at?
Tech.
We've rebuilt the global lighting ambience to achieve a more realistic effect while preserving
This
the
global
nostalgic
lighting
feel.
thing is really
It
interesting
includes a
too.
new high-resolution sky.
Basically,
Can improve the bounces,
they
the
are
reflections,
they're indicating
the
that they've
light map
rebuilt
quality,
the
and
physics of how this
accuracy,
stuff
and better
works.
transition between each
As an aside, real quick, like when you look at how games do lighting, it's not like, you know, on your phone when you go to edit a video, right, and you want to make it brighter, you just take the brightness slider and you go up or down, right? It's like, oh, look at that, you know, now it's brighter. When you want to make something brighter in a video game like this, the light all has physics behind it, right? So when you have a light source, like it sends out, it brightens everything that it touches within, you know, a certain radius at a certain rate. There's physics that describes what happens to surfaces when the light hits it. Does it reflect? Does it add light somewhere else? So like if it hits a wall, does it light up a crate? Like if there's a crate next to a wall, what lights up around the crate based on where the lighting source is? So there's a lot that goes into lighting. It's not just, oh, you know, they throw a slider up to make a room brighter. They have to go into the light, you know, into the light sources and modify that. So when they mess with the lighting of the game like this, they're not talking about just hitting a brightness slider. They are talking about rebuilding or modifying the engine, you know, that powers this stuff. Okay.
interior and exteriors.
With that technology, we've been able to do a lot more with the depth, backlighting, and shadows through the map.
For
So that's what
example,
we're
the
talking
prison,
about.
It's a bit gloomy, but the new tech helps us balance to have this creepy vibe, to still have visibility. The materials of it work, so they react better with lighting.
See,
and
that's
the
what I'm saying.
reflections are better, so everything just feels more grounded, more natural.
The recreation of Verdansk has been a
And one of the things that would do is ideally get rid of some of the pitch black shadows that exist in these maps, because if they're not allowing the light to bounce properly, right, it doesn't fill certain areas. That's why we've had, you know, especially on Urzikstan, you know, staircases can be just pitch black, and you get that, you know, you can see fine in the staircase, but looking in the staircase or transitioning from a room to a staircase, it goes, you know, the lighting changes because you're in a different lighting environment. So if they are adding and improving the way that the light works in the game, then we can definitely see, you know, smooth out a lot of these shadows, get rid of these black spots, and make it so that the map is more visible and easier to see. So this is a good thing.
collaborations across Linux, Raven, and Hyman Studios, with each team sparing no detail to ensure this experience is faithful to Infinity Ward's original design. It's the iconic Verdansk map you remember.
So you look at the grass
brought to
texture
life
that
with
they've
more
brought in
detail,
and how they've
higher
made some changes.
definition, with the best technology available today to ensure it's better than ever. Grab your friends and get ready to drop back in.
And it returns April 3rd. So this is kind of the kicker, right? This is what we are going to look at in terms of in terms of what to expect, right? Like they are telling us that this is just not a new reskinned map dropped onto the same technology base we've been working on. They have gone in, they've made changes, they've altered fundamentally how things work, and based on what Hunter Relic had posted and some discussions I've had with other people, I think they really they do bring a new engine in. This is not the same technology base we've been playing on, even in the Black Ops 6 era, right? Like we need to view this as, you know, essentially what we've been asking for. Get off of the MW2, the Warzone 2 experience, give us something new. This is their approach to that. How well it works, we don't know. We won't know until we get it. But the indications are that they have taken into consideration the problems that we've had, the lighting issues that we've had, you know, the way that the game feels, the physics involved in things, that they're making fundamental changes to the game, which is at the end of the day a huge plus for, you know, or a huge indicator that we are going to have a better experience in Warzone this time than we've had probably the last 2.5 years, simply because they have not given us, the Black Ops 6 treatment, right? The things that they've done for Black Ops 6 have not been incorporated in Warzone. All we've basically gotten is new weapons and Omni movement, and not even like the real version of Omni movement, but kind of like a cheap knockoff strapped on to Modern Warfare 2. So that being said, there's a lot of cause for optimism, and I know optimism kills when you are talking about Call of Duty and Warzone, because we have been burned by COD is back so many times, and burned by changes that they've made, like Caldera, right? Like these things that they've given us have not lived up to the original experience that we had in Verdansk. So going forward, I think that we have cause for optimism. It's up to them to execute on it. I hope they do. We'll find out in a week or 10 days or so. But until then, we're just kind of waiting to see what drips out. And hopefully hopefully we get more positive news and we get some confirmations on some good stuff coming. So let's wait, let's see what comes. I'll see you guys in Verdansk, and I'll catch you on the next one.